Hello and welcome to the DISM, the Dutchman in San Marcos, and I am the DISM. So welcome to another week. Well, I didn't get as far as I thought I could. Had a few little hiccups in the making of the neck. So let's get going. Alright, sorry for that longer intro. I always get goofed up because I split my scenes by turning them on and off so I don't have to edit as much. But I thought I'd get farther along on the neck than I did. So let me explain what happened. So you'll see more work on the fretting piece. What happened was I was planning on, it's got all the frets in it. And as you can see, I'll bring it up closer. As you can see, I put all the glue on the frets, and I didn't get a chance to file it. And then I patched the wood, which I have to sand. But what happened was the glue I bought, the best way to do it is use crazy glue or super glue to put them on. But what happened was I bought the glue and I thought, why isn't this stuff setting up quick? And what happened was I got Gorilla Glue, and look at the bottle. I thought it was super glue. See the way it comes? But when you read it, it says Gorilla Glue, clear. Nothing about super glue. So I thought I was buying super glue, but it wasn't. This is actually a pretty good glue. It dries clear and really strong, but it sets up in 2 hours and then fully cures in 24 hours. So yesterday I did glue them, so they should be pretty well set up so I can sand on it. I'm going to try it. If it starts goofing up, then I'll stop. But so that was my one blunder where I would have had it all prepped and ready to go so we could move on quicker. The other thing I did was, remember, I did bend this out. See, that was a hook before. This was hooked up before. That'll be for the box on the end, like that, for the strings. So that's all ready to go. Remember, I was gonna put a I was going to put a screw like this. Can you see that? Like this. I'll zoom in. See, like that. But this one wasn't long enough. It didn't come across here long enough, as you can see. As you can see, it falls short. So I went to the hardware store to try to find a longer one, and couldn't find one. And I thought it'd be nice a little thicker, as it has to slip down in the slot. Couldn't find anything, so I said, now what am I going to do for a nut? Well, there's a thing that's called trying to get it right here, a floating fret, I think it is. I can't remember the name. But anyways, basically what it is the frets, and I'll show you these up close. Remember I had those 2 extra frets? I got the other one around here somewhere. I can't find it. And then the frets I bought were this one. So what it's called it's supposed to be better for tuning. So the actual break of the string is off of this fret here, which is the top. And the frets down here, these are smaller, so this will actually act like a nut because it's bigger and higher. And so what I had to do was I had to cut a little piece, and I'll show you these frets. Here was the, if you see it, here was the one that I had. Here was the ones that I bought. And you can see there's a big difference. This is a medium and then this is a small. See, there's the one I bought. So if you hold those together, so you can see the difference in size. So I can't think of the name. Oh, here's the name. I can't think of the name of that. But anyways, you can actually buy them for your guitar with a special slotted nut to put the fret in, so the string breaks across the fret. And so I thought I'm going to make one of those because it's actually better for tuning. It's smoother. So that's what I did. I had to cut. I'll bring this up close. I had to cut another little piece of the fretboard, which kind of bends down. It was kind of on the curve. And I installed that bigger fret that I showed you in here, and you can see the difference. This one's bigger and that one's smaller. So that's what I did on this. So this is just after being glued. You can see the little pieces of the fret are sticking up. So I'm going to try to nip some of those closer, and then we'll run our file across them, and hopefully they'll stay in from being glued. I hope this stuff is as strong as super glue. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. Let me get my other glasses here, and then show you how to do this, and we'll sand some of the fretboard up too to get that all looking good, and then we can oil it up later. So sorry about if I bend my head down looking and I'm not talking loud enough because I don't have that mic anymore, so another thing to get working on. So let's nip these as close as we can get them. That one seems to be pretty good. That held pretty good. That one will take some of the metal off, because this thing will actually curve them. That one was a good clip. So I'm just trying to get as much of that metal, because it's a file, so it's going to have to work pretty hard. I'm also checking to see if that fret's going to stay in there. And these are responding really well, so that'll be good. So that knocked them down a little better. Now we'll do this side. A little bit of good thing I got glasses on. I can hear them flying all over the place, and my magnifying glasses end up being kind of like safety glasses, because these things do spit all over the place. You might have heard that one hit on the camera. It says it flies around. kind of bending back a little bit to even get more of it. And you'll see why after I sanded it. Did you hear that one? That one went flying. Well, I'm glad about the glue, it's holding. That was my one concern. Because if it's not glued good, they'll pop back out. So you want them secure in there. Okay, I think I got them all. So let's start with our file. And you can see it's on the edge. That one's really high. That's my floating. Oh, beauty. Basically what you want is, let me see if I can, you want them kind of slanted, and then the file will smooth them off. When I was doing it before, the file was hitting it wouldn't even go past it. So by trimming that down, as you can see, they're already starting to kind of round off. So we'll do that some more. You can see the little metal getting on the neck there, the chips. So I know what I'm doing here. I'll show you. I'll show you close up. So you can see the filings coming off, but you can see they're rounding those off real nice. See if you look, it's rounding those nice, and it gets a lot smoother to the touch of your hand. So let's do this side. That's why you could either make one of these or just a hunk of file on an angle. I bought this one because I wasn't sure, and it's screwed in with bolts, so pretty ingenious. So you got it, with any kind of filing, it always takes a little more time. So you can see what I got to do. So I'll finish that up and give it a few more licks, and then you got to take a file and kind of round them off. And I have another file. Hang on just a minute. Hang on just a minute. Let me stop this. I'll get it out of my drawer. All right. So I got this file the same time I got this one. I think I got a gift certificate from them, and I was able to actually get them free. But this file is made for just doing frets. I'll show it to you close up. It's got like a little groove in it, which you can't see from there. But as you can see it's smooth, so it doesn't wreck anything. But then you can see there's a file kind of in the groove there. And then you go over these, which takes if you had a fretboard and you're doing a fret job and the fretboard was already sanded and made up, so I want to sand this so if I get marks on it, I can sand it off. But what you would do is, and I got those too, they make little plates that you put over the frets so you don't scratch up this. But right now at this point I got enough glue on there. And this is called dressing the fret, because if you sanded it down, I use it on the end to round them off so they're nice and smooth. Kind of helps with getting them together. So you can hear I'm just hitting metal, but I'll show you what it does to it, especially on this big one. So that's better, but what I'll do is I'll hit it on my belt sander to get them just a little smoother. But as you can see right here, it's beveled it off. And you can see right there how it's rounded it off. So this was my wood spot here that I filled in. You can see that's all glue. And I mixed this with Tight Bond and that sawdust I had to fill my extra cuts, so that needs to be sanded. So I'll get a little piece of sandpaper to sand that, and there you go. The frets will be done. And after I sand the whole fretboard, I'll treat the wood, and then this one's kind of. That's one tool I still have to get, is you can get a really flat edge and put sandpaper on to level these frets. And with a cigar box, I don't get that detailed. I'm gonna sand only to get it clean, and that'll take them down a little bit too. If you're doing a guitar though, you kind of want to get more accurate. I do have a level, and we could look. We can look and see how these are. What you do is look for light through them. And I'm probably a little high at the end, but overall it's close enough for 3-string. It's not going to be like a Taylor, but if this doesn't work, I'll have to get a bolt or a bolt or something and put it in there. But I'm going to try to make that work. So a little bit of sand. It's kind of high right in here. It's not touching as quick here, so I'll have to, when I'm sanding, I'll kind of lean on these a little more to level them down. But I don't have a lot of play. What I need to get is a nice. This is like a more accurate piece of metal. See, I got this one. This one right here seems to be a little high. Got a little bit of rock. A little bit of rock and not enough roll. No, you want less roll. But so it's close. The way you do it, if you're going to really properly level, is you get a square block like I had on that one, and you put sandpaper on it, and then each one you hit with a marker, and then you use that to sand down your frets. But these frets are so small, I wouldn't have a lot to sand. So yeah. So this is kind of a specialty tool, but it makes it a lot easier for. I even use this now when I go up like that. It takes care of the burrs. You can hear it when it hits. You can get that side, it gets all those sharp. See, it's hitting those burrs when it kind of makes the grind. And kind of rounds it off too. So smooths them out pretty nice. They're still kind of sharp. The other thing I can do on this part is just take a regular file. Take a regular flat file. I gotta get one without a handle. The handle's getting in the way. So you take a flat file like this and actually go this way too. So you can do it with a file like that. The faster way, and I'll probably do that later, is I can actually run it on my belt sander, and that'll. But even that little bit really helped because they are sharp. This one's really hard. Yeah, see those. basically you're working that so it's smooth. Because you can get cut by these actually. I've gotten nicks just when I was installing them. So you kind of work them until you round them out. You can even work it up a little bit. And I'll show you another trick with just the flat file. You can hear it. Yep, I dug into the fretboard a little bit there. That's what you gotta watch out for first. The file will start digging into the wood. There, you can hear that one was sticking out pretty far. That's where that has where some of the glue is at. But that works off. So like I'm showing, it takes a little bit of finessing to get it really nice. And I can feel I got these all smooth on top now. The other way you can dress it is you can hit them this way. But then you gotta be really careful that you don't, if you don't have that other nice file like this, that's smooth so it doesn't dig in. I gotta always use the smaller side. You can hear it when it hits. You can hear a lot less grinding since I did that. I'll give you a close-up of these after I get a few of these better shaped. Well, I'm happy with that Gorilla Glue, the clear. It did its job. It's holding them in there because I'm getting pretty rough on these frets, and they're not coming out. Because it really tugs on them. It's getting smoother and smoother. And as you can see, it's getting them down. A little bit more handwork. It's like, just when you think you've done enough, you got to do a little more. I got a little burr right there, right there. But you can get them a lot smoother. Just with the sanding now of the fretboard will help too. So yeah, so there we go, and then I'll sand this with sandpaper. And I think I'm gonna take it on the grinder and then get it this way, because I'm a little high on the neck right here, so I got room to sand it down, which I can get it on the big sander and just go and get a lot more smooth. So we'll have to do that. Let me give you a little look at with it in the box so you can see it together. Now remember that spring I put in, it just goes right underneath it'll go right underneath the bridge. And I gotta push it back just a little bit. So there we go. So this piece will take do with my part. Oh, I got another box from my favorite store now for guitar boxes. I'm not saying what store it was. I don't want to give it away. But because people keep picking them up in there, because every time I go in there, there's only been like one, and I'd like to get it where there's a better choice. Now I can't find that little tail piece, but I'll show you what I found. So here's what I found. I was in the dollar store. You get 2 of these for well, now it's not $1 anymore. Now it's $1.25. So I don't know how they're gonna have to rename their store. It's not Dollar Tree or it's not a dollar store. But these are mason jar lids. I guess they have like a crafty area. But they're kind of nice. They got a little mesh in there. And if you drill a hole, now you got a hole that's covered with mesh, which is kind of cool. And they had another style like these. It makes it kind of almost look like, you know, like the dobro kind of thing, but they're mason jar lids, but I figured you could drill them into the top. This is the new box I found. So that's kind of nice. But when I got it, you can see my line wasn't straight. I cut it off, and the good part, these labels peeled off the wood really nicely. Otherwise it wouldn't have looked this nice. But I'll show you, I kept one in the inside so you could see it. The other cool thing, and look, it's got like a wooden hinge. See how it bends? But you'll see a big, ugly warning. That was right here on the front. I'm like, no! And they had one here too. And I cut it off. But this is the way that was. You know, they got the, I'll probably pull that one off too. But this one I had to cut, and this one I had to cut. And that had it on there. So, pretty cool box. It's all wood. This piece was in there. It's like all wood. It's like almost like a plywood kind of wood. So, but like I was saying, these things you could put one in there for a sound hole. Same thing like these. Oh, that one was open. Same thing like these. So you drill your hole. You drill your hole and you can put one in there wherever you want it, you know, wherever you want it. So yeah. So that'll do it for this week. Hopefully we'll be done with this thing pretty soon. And as you can see, it's the red vinyl cigar box guitar, and I don't know if I'm going to electrify it. I still haven't decided. And you can see how I got that spring in there. It just bends right over the thing, so I can vibrate in that hole a little bit and even off the neck. So I got to put the neck a little close. There it is. Now it went in. So there we go. Capitol Records. And this is getting smoother. I can feel it. So what I'll have to do then is, and I got to think about where I'm going to put the dots, and then I'll put the dots along here. But yeah, it's coming out nice. Coming out nice. So thanks for coming along, and hopefully we'll get further on it later. So I'm not sure if I'm going to make it an acoustic or put those little pickups in there. I haven't decided yet, so that'll be it. So hey, tell your friends, tell people who are kind of interested in maybe getting into this hobby of doing this. It's fun. There's different ways to get material. I got more wood from that the wood shop teacher in Oceanside, so we'll have to start doing some of that. And I got more boxes now. This one, I get them for $1.50, which is, there was another a smoke shop I went into, and they were charging $5. Depending on if the box even looked fancier, you know, they were kind of pricing them up because people actually just collect the boxes. But I found this one resource where they sell them off for just every one. The cardboard ones are 75 cents. The wood ones are $1.50, which I think, boy, that's a real fair price. So I'm kind of digging that. And yeah, so get out there, try your own projects, and we'll see you next week. Subscribe, ring the bell, and check out my kitty at the end of the video. I always put pictures of her in there sleeping, because that's what she's doing right now. So have a great week, and we'll see you next week.